I'm pretty sure whenever it comes to Modern Warfare Zombies, there's a lot of different opinions that a lot of people have, right? Such as the fact that, exfils got nerfed to the point where it's like, why do I even do an exfil in the first place? Is there literally any purpose at all? To other things out there, like how does the game perform? Is there a lot of lag? All this type of stuff. So in today's YouTube video, I wanted to make a video just kind of talking about my personal opinions regarding Modern Warfare Zombies now that I've completed Act 2 of the story, and talk about what I wish they would do and change in the future to actually make Modern Warfare Zombies even better. And I made it so I have a whole entire list for this specific topic. Now the first one and the most important one in my personal opinion, and I'll go ahead and also up the game volume so you guys can hear stuff a little bit better, is I feel that they should really go ahead and redesign stuff so that they have longer matches. Cause sure, the hour timer and everything, which yeah, actually it is basically an hour. If you don't count the 15 minutes while the storm is expanding, it's basically 45 minutes. That whole entire timer is a little odd because it feels like by the time I'm actually set up, it's time to exfil. It's time to get out of there, right? And then if you have a wonder weapon such as, the Scorcher, I think it's called, the one that can shoot you up in the air, the Wonder Waff, or even the ray gun, by the time you actually get those and you exfil because you've already, had your fun with it or whatever else, they're gone, right? And if you crafted one so that you could use it for an entire game, well, now you have to wait an entire 2 days to craft another one. And it's like the main reason I haven't even really been crafting my ray gun right when the cooldown ends all the time is because of the fact that I either feel I'm not too prepared for it or something else, right? I feel like, there's going to be a situation where maybe that run's not going to go too well, or I want to save the items for the actual storyline missions to make them a little bit easier, and it's just a very chaotic experience, at least in my personal opinion, that I feel they could improve on a lot. But of course, it's something that regardless of what I say is going to continue being in its own little zone, and will it ever get improved on? I don't know. We would kind of just have to wait and see to see what they end up doing later down the line to make the game a little bit better. But I feel having a whole entire system where the matches are maybe like half an hour longer would be a lot nicer, right? Like personally for me, I would probably prefer to actually go ahead and have the game last 2 hours per lobby. I know that is a long amount of time, but even if they don't want to extend it that far, just making it like half an hour longer, I feel like would be a lot nicer in terms of game flow, because you have an extra half an hour to do missions, contracts, whatever else, and get yourself prepared for late game zombies, right? And I definitely think that the whole entire issue right now with a lot of stuff all really just kind of relates to the whole entire land of how long matches are, and if they should be longer, if they should be shorter, or anything in between. And I really think that they should just be a little bit longer so I have more of a fun time, preparing myself for the late game encounters. And even if I don't have all my loot up at the very start, right, if I don't have a 3-plate vest or whatever else, I'm still able to have some fun by going around eliminating zombies and everything after I've already spent, the first half of the game getting kitted up very early on. So of course that is my main complaint regarding everything, is just I wish they would give us longer matches or even a simple round-based mode. Now I know round-based mode is kind of something that happened in Vanguard that detracted from the main zombies experience overall and caused it to not be as fully fleshed out as it could be, but I think even if they were to just kind of shrink down certain parts of the map or whatever, make it more like original Outbreak and release that to the community as some sort of round-based experience or something, that would be something that would be a lot nicer, just to have that more solo-friendly experience available for you at all times, instead of having to worry about, going into a match, having to worry about lag, being unable to pause the game or whatever else. Having that extra option there that is just, more solo friendly is something that I would really enjoy. Now for my next thing, I think they should rebuff exfils, right? I don't think they need to be as crazy as they once were, but I think they went from a super overpowered exfil to just nothing, right? I did an exfil the other day, and I'm not even joking when I say no zombies at all spawned. I assume that's a bug, right? I assume that they didn't mean for absolutely 0 zombies to spawn while I was exfilling, but I literally sit there and I just kind of waited for like 30 seconds or whatever else to figure out if there was going to be any zombies or anything, or if I was literally just going to have to listen to like the Jeopardy music while that match actually progressed so that I could leave the match and go on about my day, right? It's so weird to see how these whole entire systems are being made, because it feels like sometimes, you would have a decent exfil, and then other times you're going to the exfil site, and especially in like a tier 2 zone or something, and absolutely nothing is happening, when if you were to do a normal contract like Outlast or something, you would have a pretty decent amount of zombies zombies spawning in non-stop. So that is another thing I think they should do, is try reworking the exfils even more to find a middle ground, right, between what they want to do where it's not farmed for XP entirely the entire game, you know, lagging the servers or whatever, but at the same time where it's in a spot where everyone is able to actually enjoy it, and you can farm it if you want to, but it's also not going to be the best method in order to gain XP on some of your weapons. Now, in terms of other things, I think we should also get the passive upgrades from DMZ added into Modern Warfare Zombies, such as stuff, you know, like having a wallet where you're able to actually extract some of your money from zombies and use it in the next match. That was something that DMZ got in like Season 1 Reloaded or Remastered, whatever they actually call their, you know, middle season updates, and it's something that I think could be a really nice benefit for Modern Warfare Zombies, where even if they didn't increase the timer for levels, right, even if it still stayed an hour per match, having it so you could start off with some of that zombie cash or whatever whenever you go into a new match could be a middle ground benefit where it's like, hey, you're not getting longer matches, but you're able to get kitted out and prepared very early on, you know, a lot sooner than before, by doing specific tasks and everything else in order to make it so late game Modern Warfare Zombies ends up being a more enjoyable experience where, you know, you can just go into a match and shoot stuff for the sake of shooting stuff a little bit more often. I also think we need some bug fixes and stability improvements, but I mean, that's a thing that everyone's going to wish for, especially after the first week of the game, when the game was crashing non-stop over and over and over and over again, to the point where we're just like, this is chaos, this is why are we doing this, are we here just to suffer? Now, on top of all that though, right, you know, on top of exfils being buffed a little bit more, you know, maybe not as like they were before, but you know, just a little bit more so they're more beneficial, on top of matches I want them to be a little bit longer, I think we should also have the option to leave a squad I'm in during a match without having to run around, find another squad of people to take me in, because if I'm in a squad with someone and they want to go off and do their own thing, but I don't want to do their contracts because I have to focus on my own contracts, I want to make it so that I can focus on my contracts without having to try communicating with another squad person, right? You know, maybe it's just me being a more solo player, being antisocial, but I really wish that there was just an option to go ahead, hold alt, and instead of requesting to join nearby squads or inviting nearby people to my squad, being able just to leave my squad and go on and do my own thing, right? So, you know, if I want to play with a friend or whatever, and then we want to leave, go on, do our own thing, and connect back together a little bit later, we're allowed to do that. I think that should be an option that's just available to us, or maybe it's just me wanting to be antisocial, right? And on top of all that, I also believe that we should have some sort of system in place where we don't actually have to get duplicate schematics, right? Because one of the main features about this game is being able to grind out certain missions, you know, in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, whatever else, in order to get schematics that you can craft for future games, right? So you could go ahead and start a game off with Pack-a-Punch. You can go ahead and start a game off with all the perks and everything else, assuming that you've grinded the game enough and had good enough RNG to get all of those schematics. However, if you're playing the game a lot, something you'll notice is that whenever you get one of those schematic drops, there's a high probability that you're just going to get the same schematic over and over again, and I am shocked, right, by the fact that I've gotten the ray gun schematic twice now, and I've gotten Juggernog 3 times now, and all of the times were when I was playing solo, right? I'm a mainly solo player, and just having these situations where I get these really good schematics that I wish I could give to friends, and then exfilling, and since I already have them, they still go away and I can't do anything with them, just kind of sucks, right? I wish I could take schematics I already owned, put them into another match, give it to a friend who doesn't have that schematic yet, in order to make it so that, you know, there was some sort of duplicate protection, and I could get more bang for my buck from these schematics, instead of just having a situation where it's like, well, I can't do anything with this. I can either try finding a random person in my match to take it from me, or I can go ahead and just exfil with it and get like, what, 1,000 extra points or something? It is just something that I wish was a little bit nicer to you, right? Either by allowing you to keep it in your actual rucksack whenever you exfil from a match, or by being something that allowed you to go ahead and make sure you just didn't get duplicates. It would be something that would be a bit better, right? Now, it's something that I doubt that they'll ever actually change or anything, because if we pay attention to the fact, this is Call of Duty, right? This is Activision, and the odds of them actually making that change is probably little to none, so I'm not too hopeful that we will actually ever see that release in the game, but it's still something that I would put on my wish list for things I would want, and I know there's some lag here and there in the gameplay, my apologies for all of that, but for the final thing I wish they would add is more operator slots that you can earn for free that aren't locked behind bundles, because in DMZ, you could buy bundles that actually give you more operator slots in Modern Warfare Zombies, and I think in total, if you bought like a ton of bundles, you could get upwards to like 27 slots or something crazy like that. I never bought a single one of those bundles, but I wish that sometimes those little, you know, extra operator slots were unlockable for free just by doing the game and, you know, doing storyline missions or whatever else, considering the fact that whenever you're playing this, by doing Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, you can go ahead and unlock free weapons, right? Or I guess, you know, not weapons, but insured slots where you can have your own weapon loadout, just just kind of sitting there available for you whenever you want to run into it, right? And now that I'm actually on Act 3, having all those extra slots is such a nice thing, right? And I just wish I had more operator slots without having to fish out $1 million just to make the game so much more better for me personally. So if I want to have a farm character, I can just log in with a farm character, do some farming of tier 3 contracts, and then get out of there. If I want to mainly focus on the story, have another character prepared for that as well. Also, we need some bugs fixed, right? Because for some reason, right there, right when I paused the recording, there was an invisible wall that just completely stopped my vehicle entirely. And it's just like, I've been noticing weird invisible walls here and there constantly, especially when driving doing these convoy contracts. And I wish they weren't as apparent, right? You know, just find where the little invisible barriers are and just fix them up a little bit nicer for me, so I don't have to slam my face into the brick wall that doesn't even exist or have a texture or anything. But of course, you know, that's just kind of been my opinions and everything. I would love to hear in the comments down below, what do you guys think about my wish list for Call of Duty Modern Warfare Zombies? What do you hope gets added in the future, and everything in between? And I will catch you champs and champettes next time with another video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and I'm back to the Call of Duty zombie grind. Peace out.